It's Sharon Jameson, the CEO and founder of the Jameson Group. It's about 10:30 on Sunday evening, but I didn't want to miss an opportunity to come live. And first to say thank you so very much for those who attended the Get Unstuck workshop yesterday. Hey, Kathy, we had an amazing time and we had a chance to talk about what we can do to challenge those times when we are making transitions in our lives and how to look at and identify the weeds that choke us from our missions, the weeds that choke us from our dreams, the weeds that choke us from answering our divine assignment. Hey, Cleo and Edmund, thanks so much for joining me. So I want to talk about three things that we talked about yesterday during the Q&A period. We're talking about when we are making these changes to get unstuck in our lives. How do we deal with resistance and how do we handle this adversity that's going to happen? Because when you start trying to make changes, let me tell you, resistance is going to act like a rubber band and do its best to pull you back to your old self and pull you back to who you used to be, because first your body is used to that, but also there are going to be so many forces working against you to prevent you from making changes in your life. So I want to go over three things very quickly, and I'm doing it on Instagram at the same time. So three things. One, I want you to think about your thoughts. The thoughts will be something that will keep you stuck when you're trying to make changes in your life. Now, when we're making changes in our life, the thoughts are going to be, of course, of doubt, of fear. Hey, Lisa, doubt, fear, insecurity. There are going to be doubts that come into your mind telling you you're not worthy. Who do you think you are? You've never done that before. But I want to encourage you to understand that don't let fear stop you, but use fear to support you. I'm going to say that again. Don't allow fear to stop you, but use fear to support you. Now, how can fear support you? Fear can support you by making you pause, to be strategic, to make sure that you have uncovered every stone, to make sure you can move forward. For example, when you're feeling fear can tell you to slow down and to plan better. It can tell you to identify enemies better. Fear can tell you to look at the shifts of the market. Fear can be used to support you because it will make you be more diligent and will make you to be more disciplined and to make you to be more analytical, because it will tell you to pause and to be more aware of what's going on. So I want you to know that the thoughts that are going to flood your mind, also everybody else is going to try to give you their thoughts. But just know that if a thought is not helpful, hopeful, and healing, it is not of God. I'm going to say that again. If the thought is not helpful, hopeful, or healing, I want you to not allow that thought to take root. It's okay to have fear, but it's not okay to live in a spirit of fear, because spirit of fear will make you hesitate and it will make you procrastinate. And as a result, you cannot elevate. So I want you to know that fear is normal. Again, use the fear to serve you and don't allow the fear to stop you. You're going to feel it, so take it down, write it in your journal. And when you list your fears on a piece of paper, it allows you to look at the fear, to get that energy out of your body so that you can be strategic. Again, feel the fear, write it down, look at it, and use it to be strategic, because fear can help you identify ways to maximize and optimize what you're doing. Again, let fear support you. Don't allow fear to use you. That's the first thing. So that's your thoughts. The second thing I want to mention is that when you are making changes, hi, Alexandra, hey, Regina, I want you to know that things will affect you. But I want you to remember this. Everything you need to get unstuck in your life, you already have within you. Everything you need, you have it. Now, it might be in seed form. Some things are already in seed forms. So what do you need to do? You need to ask yourself, what's in my mind, in my head, what's in my heart, what's in my hand, and what's in my home? Again, what's in my head, what's in my heart, what's in my hand, and what's in my home. So what does that look like? When you are making changes in your life and you are being faced with resistance and adversity, what you want to think is ask yourself, who do I know? What do I know? What can I do? Your head, use your heart. What is my intuition telling me? What is my passion telling me? How I'm being guided by the Spirit. That's your heart. In your hand, what talents do I have? What strengths do I have? What skills do I have? And then look in your home. Who do you know? Everything we need is already around us, even if it's in seed form. And many times we overlook the things that we already have to help us make changes in our life because we are so accustomed to who we are. But sometimes you need to ask other people, what do they see in you? Because you have talents that you don't see. You have abilities that you're overlooking. So I want to encourage you, hey, Tina, to when you feel that you're being choked by adversity, choked by resistance, when you're trying to get unstuck, I want you to pause and ask yourself, yes, you need some things, but you already have everything you need in your hand, in your head, in your heart, in your hand, and in your home. Why? Because you came to this world fully loaded. You came to this world fully loaded with ideas to have income. You came in this world with insight and innovations. You came into these ideas with creativity to create cash. Everything you need, you already have inside of you. And so we have to remember that, because when we allow those thoughts to make us feel that we are ill-equipped and ill-informed and incompetent, we don't move forward. I want you to think about what we talked about yesterday. Find out what are just the 3 moves I can make to move me forward. 3 good moves, because the small tweaks have great impact in your life. Hey, Trina, Marilyn, and Vivian, and Tina. So I want you to think about that. You have all the things you need. The last thing we talked about is them, the people that are always in your ear. We talked about this yesterday. We all are seeds, and we need to be in good soil. Here's the challenge. Do you know what good soil looks like based on where you're going? Again, do you know what good soil looks like based on where you're going? Many times we talk about, and I hear people say, oh, those people are not good for me. But what are the qualifications that you are choosing to make sure that you're choosing people with the right qualifications to have access to you? Some people, based on where you are going, don't have the qualifications to help you, to serve you, to mentor you. And however, we have to know what we're looking for. We can't say, oh, those people are not good for us, but we don't know what we need. Your purpose needs to pick your people. Hey, Rosalind and Shelley and Marilyn, your purpose picks your people. So we need to ask ourselves, what does our purpose need based on where we're going? And we also need to know and be clear about, hey, Sean, what are the qualifications? We can't say that the people that we're hanging around are not good people, but we don't know what qualifies a person to be a good person based on where we are going. And so I want you to think about, if you are good seed, you need to be in good soil. But what are the ingredients of good soil based on where you're going? We are so quick just because people are ahead of us, and we think, oh, we need to hang out with those people. Hey, Greg. But here's the truth. Just because somebody is ahead of you, that doesn't mean that they're your peep. They might have money, but they can be low down. There are a lot of people who are smart, but they're sleazy. There are a lot of people who are talented, but they're toxic. There are a lot of people who are smart, but they're shady. And so we can't be so mesmerized by their public personas or their plastic personalities or their profits and their prestige. And we think that there are the people that we need to hang around because we get seduced by their success. We have to pause for a moment. Hey, Teresa and Cece, and step back and say, are these people qualified to move with me on this journey? And do they have the qualifications based on what I want to do in my life? And that's why our purpose needs to pick our people, not our egos. Because our egos will have us picking people who make us feel good, but who cares about feeling good? We want to be able to do good. And we can't do good if we are ill-equipped and ill-informed and underserved, because we're hanging around people who make us feel good and they're massaging our egos, but your egos won't help you get elevated. You need some skills. You need some talents. You need some abilities. You need some resources. You need people who are connected. And most of the time, if people are not courageous enough and confident enough, they can't help you anyway. The worst thing you want to do is have people in your life who are jealous of you, who cannot see your elevation, are people who are so jealous of you that they become saboteurs versus supporters. Remember, everybody is not a devoted assistant to you. Some people are demonic assassins, and we got to be so careful because we invite people in our lives who are not assets. They are liabilities, and they drain us, and they deplete us, and they degrade us. So who are these thems that you need? Do you know, and have you written down the qualifications to make sure that people have been vetted to be in your life? Sometimes we get so mesmerized because somebody has a pretty face, but the person is poisonous. And they're pitiful, and they're pitiful, and they're powerless. But we are mesmerized because they're cute but cutthroat. So I want you to really, really think about who you are hanging around, right? You need some people with some intellect and insight, because intellect without insight, you won't have wisdom. Wisdom helps you win, but you want to make sure that the people are wise and warriors and not wimps and whiners. You don't need people who are complainers. You need people who are creators. You need people who are problem solvers. But we pick people because they are familiar, but sometimes people who are familiar are fatal, right? And they keep you mired in misery and mess because they're chickens, but you want to be an eagle, right? Chickens don't fly. Eagles fly. So do you have the right them? So hi, Shirley and Ty. So again, I want you to think about when you are going forward towards your dreams, in the midst of adversity, in the midst of resistance, when you are trying to change your life. We talked about it yesterday on the master class. I want you to think about when you're being choked, and you're being choked by bad thoughts. I don't care if they're your thoughts or thoughts that people give you when they give you the benefit of their opinion, and their opinion is ill-informed, right? Because some people give you their opinion, but it's based on their thoughts, and they're not good thinkers, right? So make sure you don't think somebody else's thoughts. But the bottom line is, think about what you're thinking about. Think about what you're thinking about. And that's why it's best to journal it so you can see it with your eyes. Because sometimes when you see your thoughts, you can see how your thoughts are very irrational. You can see how your thoughts are not based on empirical data or evidence. They based on something that is not substantive. So I want you to think about that. Your thoughts to your things. Remember, everything you need, you already have in your head, your heart, your hand, in your home. Be creative. Don't let what you do have, don't let what you don't have stop you from doing what you do know. You know enough to get started. And you don't have to be perfect. 80% is enough to make a home run, right? And so I want you to start making sure that you don't let thoughts are things, and also be careful about the them. Just because they've been in your life 50 years doesn't mean they need to be in your life 50 more minutes. Some people have expired. Some friendships have expired. And if we don't realize that we have outgrown them, or sometimes they have outgrown us, right? And not because we're better, but we're different, that we need to make sure that we make choices. And it's not that we're not saying that we don't love them. We're saying that we can't launch into greatness with them. Because remember, you can love a lot of people, but you can't do life with everybody. You can love them, but you can't do life with them. And so we want to make sure that we're clear, to make sure that you are equipped. Remember, you are seed. You need to be in good soil, and you need to know what the definition of soil, the soil needs to be like, the ingredients of the soil for where you are going. Remember, you go forward. You can't keep reaching back and pulling people with you when people are not doing what they need to do to be able to move forward with you. You can love them, but you can't do life with them. So when you're being choked, remember, watch your thoughts. Make sure you remind yourself that you have all the things you need to be successful, and watch your them. And make sure your purpose picks your people, because your purpose knows what you don't know. Because your purpose already knows the destination, and your purpose will give you who you need as you embark on your journey. Yes? So thanks so much for joining me. I'm so grateful. Listen, the workshop was wonderful. I'm going to make the replay available to people. But I want you to think about it. We had strategy sessions. Now, all this stuff, the Q&A is not going to be on a replay, because when I have master classes, when people are confiding in me, I turn off the recorder. So that deep, visceral stuff that we talked about, I turn off the recorder because I want people to have a sacred space. But I want you to think about taking advantage of the replay and think about our lives. We don't want to live in regret and wake up and we're 55 years old and we're still talking about shoulda, woulda, coulda, because we're stuck because of our conditioning, our culture, stuck because we lack courage, we lack clarity. A lot of reasons why we get stuck, and I talked about those yesterday. So thanks so much for joining me. Have a good week, and let's dare to soar higher and higher and higher, because the best is yet to come. Blessings, and thanks so much. Bye-bye.